not dealt with the information that comes to it. This is why I choose to talk about treatment more than drug rehabilitation. Because you have to treat a situation before you can rehab. You can't rehab before you treat. You got to treat before you rehab. And if you don't find a way to be able to treat and deal with the real system or the real situation that's going on with you, because you can't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? We find ourselves relapsing over and over and over again, because believe it or not, what you call addiction that keeps coming back is only something that comes from your mind. We haven't changed the way I started thinking. I haven't put upload no information in my mind, so I'm still following whatever the old information tells me, because I've been doing that for years. Been doing it for years, and I haven't changed anything. I haven't put anything in my mind to be able to replace or to be able to combat, you understand, the old man or the old way I think. So if the battlefield of mind, you understand, is the key to your recovery. Put it like that. It's the key to your recovery, but you have to go through the treatment process of being able to renew yourself. Prime example, a friend of mine, a guy I know real well, talked about being institutionalized. It's a mindset. It's not what I have to do. It's what I program myself to do. So in order for me to be able to overcome the idea of being institutionalized, I have to be able to upload in my mind the fact that I can be independent. You know, I don't look at the facts that I can be independent, because I've always found myself in a position or in an area where somebody was always telling me what to do. So now, you understand, what happens is that becomes a way of life to me. We talked about that before. When I was in prison, I was a model prison. Whatever the sergeant or the captain wanted me to do, shit, I did it. So the thing, in order to be able to change that and break that and break that cycle in my life, I had to get to a point where I can understand and get information that would tell me, help me to understand that I can be independent on my own. I don't need this. Jerry, you're this. I said, Brian, you're beautiful. You're strong. You can do this. But this was not the type of information that I was dealing with, because the information that I was dealing with in my mind, you understand, so you're a crackhead. You understand? This is what crackheads do. Until the point that I started believing that this is what crackheads do. So nothing changed. I only got worse and worse and worse, not in my addiction, but I got worse and worse in my thinking. Because I had got addicted to thinking the way that has been posted before me. Put it like that. This is why, this battlefield of the mind is so important. Everything, like I said, everything in life is geared toward your thinking. That's why they call it TV, television program. Because they're trying to upload something in your mind. This is why, you understand, you go and buy the $45,000 car when the $20,000 car got the same shit. Yeah, they know how to play on your thinking. You know, because why? Because we don't say, okay, I don't take the time to log on the Motor Trend and see J.D. Powell and see what is the best option for me to get. So I allow somebody else to upload the program in my mind to think this is the best car to get. And this is what happens. Everything in this life and in this system, coming to you, everything in this life and this system, but anyway, everything in our life in this system is pointed towards changing the way you think. Thinking how, giving you the way to think the way they want you to be able to change, you understand, the way you operate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, you know how they say we pick up where we left off,
Mm-hmm.
if we relapse. well, 10 years have gone by since I had drank or drugged or anything, that 10 years sobriety. But let me tell you what, it's almost like short-term memory, you know, fogs things up and it just dumps it at the end of the day instead of processing. Because it's like I picked up where I left off and I've got 3 times worth. And all that shit you're talking about is all stored in permanent memory.
Right. Yeah, it's
All the
probably-
behavior, all the attitude, all the deception, the manipulation, all the bullshit, all that bullshit just comes back at you like it was yesterday.
Exactly.
Like it was yesterday.
Exactly. I mean, it is like I say, it's the behaviors, it's the mental behaviors that we have to learn how to deal with. I'm gonna ask you anyway. How many of you ever cheated on your wife or your lady or your girlfriend? How did you feel after it was all over? Huh?
Like shit.
Felt like shit. Felt like shit. Why? Why you think you felt like shit?
Because I thought I was gonna get caught.
No, it wasn't how I feel. You have that recall. You have that recall. You know what's wrong before you did it. You know, but you had conned yourself in believing, you know, saying this is what I wanted to do. And after I did it, the reality sets in. Now you feel like shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the process, the mental process comes up and say, hey, man, you know what you did. Same way with a person that relapse. If you go out there and relapse, you take you a drink or you take you a hit, and the first thing out,
They can't even enjoy it.
so what we do? We keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to drown out what little good information I have. Because I can't deal with the feelings and the thoughts. So I have to drown it out some more. And now I find myself deeper and deeper and deeper. I find myself sleeping with another woman, until I convince myself that I'm all right.
Your emotions take over.
Yeah, eventually I convinced myself that what I'm doing is okay. Because now I've gone back to the bad information that I've uploaded in my thinking, in my mind. You know, like I said, we get so caught up, and a lot of places teach you this, we get so caught up in trying to fight something that's not my battle. God dang. I said, like being in a war and fighting an enemy you can't see. How many of us how many of us remember Terminator? Was it Terminator? Not Terminator. Damn, what was the other movie I was talking about?
Full recall.
No, it wasn't Total Recall. The one where they was fighting the stadium. Predators. Nobody could ever see him. He would just strike from anywhere.
That predator was bad.
And it was hard, you know, saying to find out. So, you know, of course, we know in the movie on Swagger, they find out a way to see it. And so this is what treatment is. Treatment allows you the opportunity to be able to see the enemy that you're really fighting. The addiction that you're really fighting. And when you be able to take a look, Thomas Gaines, at what you're really fighting, you say, damn, I've been a fool all this time. You know, so I'm thinking I'm fighting, you understand, some big army, and this is all I was fighting. This is all I was fighting. It's so small and so minute, and it was so easy for me to do. You know what I'm saying? But I was so caught up in the wrong information in my central processing center that I thought I couldn't even do it. And what makes you think we can do it? Because of what we hear. Ear gates, eye gates. Besides, I'm saying, statistics say that out of the 25 guys in this circle here, only 2 of you are going to make it. And we started to believe that shit. Addiction, the United States makes only 5% of the world's population, but 80% of you are hooked on prescription drugs. You keep allowing this to go over and over, play over and over and over until eventually that's what you start to believe. Go ahead, Ron.
So I was just saying, like you said, you think you're fighting everything out there, but you end up you're just fighting with yourself.
Yeah, you really. All right, so we look at how to delete some of this information, and it's that we have to be able to recognize what junk mail in your mind really is. Let's talk about it. I'm just talking. What do you think some of the junk mail in your mind that you know you have to delete in order to be able to be able to accomplish being victorious in the battlefield of your thinking. It's your question.
First, I don't think we ever delete anything.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that since we are a computer, and we're the most sophisticated computer, now, and I think that we just add programming, and new programming is in there for a purpose, like say we get viruses, we get, bad programming. Well, new programming is made to not replace, but improve the knowledge that we have already. So that when the time comes, you revert to that new programming instead of the old programming.
Mm-hmm.
So it falls real much in line with what you're saying.
Okay,
We always have that same shit. I don't think we can delete a damn thing.
okay. Gary?
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty much what he did. How to put this? When the first time I was locked up, that was the worst experience for me as far as the programming in my mind, because I was exposed by that group. I was locked up for 5 months, and I was exposed to information from that group of guys that I never thought of, like drinking Listerine if you're out of money because it's easier to steal. I filed that, and years later, I used it.
Mm-hmm.
They planted a seed in my mind that you can steal this from Home Depot and return it to another Home Depot, get the money, and not get caught. What? I filed that and I used it later. And I don't know how to deprogram myself.
Mm-hmm. Thomas?
The brain can be rewritten.
Huh?
The brain can be rewritten. It's called pathways. When the brain takes a drug and under a scanner, it sees your brain lights up. And then when you take that drug, that memory stores that action, it reminds you every time you see a picture of a drug, it lights up your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do is you have to take new pathways, do new things that affect you to combat the old feelings that are there that are more attracted to what your brain. That's why it's so hard to get off drugs, because when you think about it, the way it affected your brain was tremendously. So if it lights up like a Christmas tree, you know what I'm saying, what else is gonna do that? You know what I'm saying? So when you think about it, you relive in it, you start sweating, all that bunch of stuff. It's pathways. When it comes in, it does a reaction to your brain, and then you gotta do new things to create new reactions to change, instead of using the same ones that you don't know are so effective to you.
Okay, I agree with the fact that there are pathways. We talk about eye gates, ear gates are pathways. If I say, okay, guys, we're gonna watch a documentary, you understand, on addiction, and every other scene, somebody's shooting, somebody's snorting, somebody drinking, do you think that would affect you?
Yeah.
Why? Why? Because it's a pathway. Because it's a pathway. And like what's it called saying, you never delete anything. If I go and delete everything off of this computer, is it gone?
No.
Where is that?
It's somewhere. It's in cyberspace.
It's called a hard drive. This is how they catch pedophiles. You understand? Who now know that they're on the Fed list, and they go and whitewash everything in the computer. So when the Feds bust in, what's the first thing they grab? The hard drive. Because it's never deleted from the hard drive. Never. You can't delete it from the hard drive unless you're a technician. Yeah. So I mean, this is the same thing. We never delete anything, as he said. Nothing ever deleted out of our mindset, Thomas. But the new information that we have, you understand, allows us to have control over what was. And eventually, the new information takes over until the information is really deleted in a way because we no longer use it. We no longer allow ourselves to use it. Go ahead, Tom.
That's kind of why they say fake it till you make it.
Well, I mean, you can't know.
You try something so many times. I'm just using it.
I understand the concept you're saying, but there are some things that you can't fake it to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fake
you can't fake the way you think. Put it like that. You can't fake that. You know, you could talk about it like you're faking, but you're still battling with it. And it's the same way with what they call addiction, the same thing we're going through. You understand? You have to deal with it. Take a guy from the military that comes home with PTSD. That's real shit to him, right?
Yeah.
But actually, where does the PTSD start?
In his brain.
Because through avenues of what they saw, what was traumatizing to them, and all the stuff. And guess what? It's here. And we're fighting, you understand? They're still fighting the battle in Iraq, but I'm home in America. I'm still fighting crack cocaine. I'm still fighting heroin. I'm still fighting crystal meth. You understand? But I'm in treatment, but I'm still fighting. How? How you fighting? I don't see anybody in here with no crystal meth. I don't see anybody with no heroin. I don't see anybody with no crack. So where are you fighting it at? Where's the real ultimate battle is? It's in your, exactly, Nick. Vic, it's in your mind. But with the information a lot of times that we get, that we have the opportunity to get, we don't use it. I'll say this. How many of us use these?
What? What's the question?
I say a lot of times the information that we have in order to be able to change or rewrite a program, we don't use it. We don't use it. Your treatment is 80% yours. 10% are only for your clinical director. 10% is them. They put the information, and 80% of it is what you use and how you upload it in your mind and your thinking and start practicing. You have to do it over and over and over again. You see guys who are professional basketball players, hockey players, soccer players, football players, etc. You understand? Those are the guys, you understand, were practicing when we were rolling over, stretching our hands and going back to sleep. I'm serious. These are the guys, you understand, who seen them, who wanted to go to a different level. Yeah, exactly. Some of them, ever since they was kids, like they did this documentary on Michael Jordan, how he used to sleep with the basketball. You know, he was determined to change, to be something about it. I'm quite sure he really didn't start dreaming about the NBA till maybe high school, because they cut him on the high school football team. Basketball team. They didn't think he was good enough.
That's funny.
Yeah, they cut him from the high school basketball team. They didn't think he was good enough. So it wasn't until he got, basically he didn't stop playing, it wasn't until he got to Georgetown, not Georgia, but yeah, North Carolina with Thompson to help him understand and connect his vision and his dream. So what I'm saying is that the information that you have is there is for you to use and for you to rewrite the program in your mind and change that. Because now when I go to Publix and say to make groceries, I don't have to worry about going down the beer aisle because I don't have to pick that up. I don't have to worry about passing by the liquor store, you understand, because that doesn't bother me because my program has been rewritten. Yes, I know what I do know is I can't pick up. What I haven't deleted is the fact how I turn into a class A asshole when I do it. Or how I start robbing grandma, mom, and old lady, and everybody to take the children Christmas presents back, you know what I'm saying, so I can get high. That part I haven't deleted. That's still some pretty good information that I can use. But the part of the matter is that I have to always change the way I think. And the thing about how many of us can think like we was when we were 10, and now you're 50, you keep that same mindset.
I got a question.
Go ahead, I see.
How, in regards to that, how we think and everything, what happens when you throw mental illness into the picture? Because some people, for me, it's more than just fun, it's also a coping method.
Right.
And when you throw mental illness in it, like depression and stuff like that, and you get those bad feelings that you can't handle, and you take shit to cover all that, to mask it so you can feel better, that's almost more powerful than trying to get your shit together sometimes. I'm not saying all.
Well, okay, all right, let's talk about that. Let's talk about guys who, a lot of times, especially people with PTSD. that we deal with some type of mental handicap at the time. What do you think is the best strategy for that? Vic?
Find your strengths, keep trying to correct it.
I
Reprogram.
mean, the way I look at it from all the research I've done is foundation. You need to drink a lot of water, have a good balanced nutrition, and get good sleep, and have a balance in life between work, studying, and recreation.
Okay,
You need a balance. All that helps your body heal, like he's saying, to heal and rewrite, like you're talking about.
Okay.
It does. It's scientifically proven. It can be repaired. It just takes time and consistency.
okay. So, as Brian was saying, so when you come to an alcohol and drug treatment facility, what do you come to do? Listen to the word, treatment facility.
Rehabilitation, to treat your
Okay, you receive treatment.
treatment.
Okay, so now I'm dealing with some mental health issues. You understand, what treatment do you think I need?
Well, that's one avenue.
That's one avenue, but I might need to, sign up and be able to engage with a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Somebody to help me understand what I'm dealing, because I only go grab the drugs, understand, because now I'm not dealing with mental health. I only went and picked up the crack because whatever emotional, whatever feeling that I'm dealing with, Curtis, that was my relief. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have the information here to be able to deal with it.
Right.
So I went somewhere else and got the information. I got a lot of bad information, and I kept getting it. Why? Because it kept soothing what I was going through. Until a point now, it's a way of life. So when I see once you go, if you got a situation that you have with mental health, you know what I'm saying, you're going through situations like people with PTSD, and PTSD, by the way, is not just a military disease. Okay? You have people that come from bad neighborhoods, people that have been in prison. I mean, a lot of different things create PTSD. So we're just not gonna pick on the United States military. So the thing about it is that when we have to go to the right sources to be able to get the right treatment for what we're dealing with and what we're going through. Because when I connect with the right treatment of what I'm going through, it helps me to change my thinking process of how I see my PTSD, or how I see my mental health situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it as an opportunity for me to go and get high anymore to deal with. Just saying, I go to the right and correct source to deal with.
Yeah, I like what you say about psychiatrists and PTSD, because when I went to the little house over here, the psychiatrist here, he's pretty good. And he dug out me until he brought out some memories from my childhood that were really bad that I had hidden, I had buried away, but they're still there. And I feel like maybe that's part of why I was doing a lot of drugs and stuff, was to keep those memories away.
And a lot of times, and Nick, you're absolutely right. A lot of times we pick up substance and start to get into alcoholism and different type of drugs because of something that's going on with us. And this is why I say, you didn't really come here for recovery, you come here for discovery, and you come here for treatment. Treatment changes the way you think and changes your views about a situation. If my view is distorted, I'm gonna continue to do what I do. But if you give me an option, you understand, to have a different view that can change my life, it gives you an opportunity to make a decision, John. But when we were in active addiction, so to speak, when we were in our drugs, it gave us no choice. We didn't have a choice. Treatment gives us a choice. It helps us to be able to step back and take a look at Gerald, not my addiction, but take a look at Gerald. What did I really go through that causes me to start this situation in the beginning? And like I said, a lot of times, like he was saying, was that it's never deleted. It's in a hard drive. But what happens is I come and sit here for 6 months. But if I have not dealt with it and took the option to be able to treat it, guess what happened? I would come back. So it's just part of life. Guess what? Even if I come to treatment and get some new information, it's still come back. But I just deal with it from a different avenue than I did before.
It's also a form of just self-medication.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. We did things, but we have a new way of medicating. New way of medicating is letting go of certain things and grasping new situations, grasping new ways of thinking. all of these different things. So like I said, we overlook it sometimes, and we get so busy, you understand, get down at a 2-point stand trying to deal with crap, you understand, every time you knock us flat on the ass. Because we're dealing with the wrong situation. We keep fighting the ghost. And then the real battle is right here, Tommy. The real battle is right here. The real battle is what the shit, you understand, you sit here in the group and say, that's bullshit. That's the battle. That's the battle, because a lot of times we are afraid to take a look at ourselves. We're afraid to take a look at ourselves because of what I might see about myself. But you face that man every night when the lights go out on the dorm and on that top and bottom bunk, and nobody talking to you, and you by yourself. You have to deal with that man. And so we wake up, you understand, and we find a way to deal with it, other than finding a way to defeat it. So we fight it through different multiple avenues that we travel. Through videos, through bullshit, sex, all these different type of avenues we choose to go down, and we never have a victory. Because we never get the time to get the information that we need in order to be able to say shit. Yeah, I remember I used to do that. I don't do that, man, because I have a different way of thinking. That's why I say a lot, the battlefield is in the mind. The battlefield is in the mind, Michael. It's not that powder system of the one that they cook up and turn into a rock, and you know, the one that you put into a spoon with some cotton and all. That's not the battle. The battle is right here. You've got to change the way you think. I said, he got Webster, Jerry got a book. How many of us, believe it or not, as irrelevant as that book may be to this group, something is changing in his mentality from that book.
So yeah, hey, chill.
Yeah. I didn't know it was an
I got that book here, I got the Bible here.
Well, I mean, that's true too, but everything works together. And see, this is why a lot of times when we get spirituality and we bring religion in and we try to separate the two between changing our way of thinking, it all works together. It all works together. It doesn't mean I got to be a church guru, so to speak, a brother super Christian. That's not what it means. Really, I mean, really, we gather information to be able to help change our directions in life. Like in AA, it's what they call God. Good orderly direction. That's how they use the acronym in God in the rooms that I call them. They call it good orderly direction. Not taking away from the fact that it's Christianity or religion. They just put it in a way that you can understand that it's part of your new process. Go ahead, John. You got it.
No, I was gonna go on what you were saying. I feel like you said one of the biggest main things is what we see.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we take in, yeah.
We come here to try to, we should, I feel like the best thing that I can get in my mind is that I come here to try to see what I need to see. I don't come here for recovery or for treatment. I come here that's not what I meant.
I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. So, how many of us see where you are today as recovery or treatment?
Yeah.
Aldo? Both? Okay. Why do you say that?
So that you're treated, you recover from the damage that drugs have done to your brain, to your brain. I mean, your brain, my brain is definitely connected right to my emotions.
Okay, so how long would you say you were in your addiction? Over a span of 20 years? Huh?
7 months.
Out of life?
No, hell no.
Oh,
Hell no.
How long would you go ahead,
15 years.
15?
Well, when I was younger, we went to treatment centers and there were 30 days.
Right.
What we're doing is basically giving you information. And then recovery happens over a period through action.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's what it means to me. I mean,
All right.
recovery for me really, it can start here, but it's really gonna be out there.
Okay. Okay. Thomas, I see you, Brian.
I feel like I came here for all those things, for recovery, for information, for, you know, time away from the drugs.
How long you was in addiction when it comes to life? How long was you in addiction?
Since I was like 14.
Okay. How old you say you were, Gary, I don't know why I want to call you Gary. That's saying, how long you gonna say, Robert, did you say you were in addiction? Since what age?
Since I was 11 years old.
Since you was 11 years
14
old,
years.
14 years old. How long?
I mean, I feel like I came here because I was lost
Okay.
and I needed to reboot, literally. That's what I told my
I
mom. I was
get
like,
that.
I'm rebooting. I need to reboot.
I
because I'm
get
fucked up.
that. So how long when your addiction started? How long you been fighting it?
I remember my parents fighting when I was a little kid and I was outside sniffing gas out on my dad's boat. Because I couldn't take it, you know?
Oh, I get what you're saying as to why you do it. Cause I mean, there's a number of reasons why I thought I did it, but today I see totally different. The point I'm trying to make is that I started getting high around 14, 15, smoking weed, you understand, just to giggle and act goofy and shit. You understand, but it was, you know, eventually it led to, you know what I'm saying, smoking, doing coke and all this. So when you look at, am I in treatment or I'm in recovery? And the reason why a lot of times treatment saved my life because I had nothing to recover. You know, if I did drugs when I was 16 years old, I never knew how to live because I was in and out of prison. And my ability to be a model prisoner, you know what I'm saying, told me that I was missing some guidance in my life. You know what I'm saying? So the drug and all this different type of stuff became my guidance. So I needed to come to treatment so I can discover how to live. Some of us have had great careers. I'm not saying this fits in with everybody because some of us come from a great career background and we just, you know, got caught up in some situation. So that individual may have a recall where he can go back and recover that part of life. But I did not have it. So treatment was the greatest option in my life because it taught me how to live. And it still teaches me how to live. Because I had to learn how to do things the way it should be done in life. I didn't know how to do that. So I never approached recovery. I never had. I said it for years because that's what was in my ear. But I did. I was in recovery. I kept getting the same shit. I kept recovering the same shit. Relapse after relapse after relapse. Because the information I hadn't changed anything up here to discover how to live a different life. I can't. How many of us you think right now, if you look at your life that you live in addiction, and you think, you understand, that you can go back and live that same life without any consequences? You can't. You can't. So that's why I say the most important way of life, you understand, in the world is being able to treat the process. If you go to a psychiatrist, like you say you went to Nugent, you understand, he don't prescribe you anything until he first treated and understand what was going on with you, right? You can't change your life, and you can't discover how to live if you don't first understand, treat the situation, and understand how to live. It's like being born again, so to speak. You know, all of the things that I didn't do, didn't pay bills, didn't be responsible, wasn't a father to my kids, you understand, robbing and stealing, all these things would have went against the grain of living, of knowing how to live. You know, so, you know, my thinking was, if I wanted to go steal it. So treatment taught me, you understand, how to deal with my emotions, how to deal with my feelings, how to deal with who I am, so I can learn how to live. And once I understood and came to the realization that, and started to live, the old man had no more authority over me because my thinking process had changed. Because now my thinking process has helped me understood that I didn't need these things in order to be able to live, to have a good life. The battlefield of the mind. Because if I don't change the way I think, I'm not going to change the way I'm going. If I don't change the way I think, I'm not gonna change the direction in which I'm going. Because I have no other direction to unload. Because my mind is only set in one area and on one thing. You know, so a lot of times, like I said, when we relapse over and over and over and over again, it's because I haven't put in information to help me understand that life is better on the other side. Because I haven't put that information in my central processing center to help me understand that. If you know, maybe I need to go fill out an application over here. Understand, good question, this fits me. You know, so you start to do little bit of things like that, Tom, just little bit of things like that. Because we're people that always had the ability to get a job. We never had a problem with going and getting a job. You know, saying, wow, because one thing we were master manipulating. You know, so we knew how to sell ourselves to get what we want when we, in a time of need. So we know how to do those things, but every time what happened, we couldn't keep it. 6 months, 4 months, 90 days, we're fired. Or we just go out one day and get high and never come back.
Yep.
That was my thing, One hit, I was hit.
Real paycheck.
I was waiting on whatever days I had in before I quit, looking for that paycheck. And so embarrassed, you understand, I didn't even want to go pick it up because of the shit I had did. So, learning how to live it, and restructuring your mind and treatment is learning how to maintain a good job. Learning how to understand that I don't have to start out at $15 an hour to be successful. That doesn't mean, so many times we do that. Oh yeah, I graduate next month. I just landed this job, $18 an hour. But you don't have the mindset to go with $18 an hour. Because now I've given all of my power and authority over to the $18 an hour. But I have no mindset, I haven't treated the situation that keeps me losing good jobs like that. Because now you understand, I don't come to group on time, I lay in bed. You understand? And I'm not picking on anybody. But what I'm saying is that this is what treatment is about. It's structured to get up at a certain time, it's structured to do at a certain time. Now when we leave, no, we're not gonna do things exactly the way that was. But yet in our mindset, it's there. I know if I got to be on my job at 7 o'clock, I know I need to get up at least 5. For me, I have to get up. I don't like rushing. So I have to get up at like 5. You understand? I have a curriculum that I follow, understand, as far as my treatment plan. I'm up in the morning at 5. As soon as my eyes open, I fall on the bed, I get on my knees, I thank God for another day, I say my prayer. After that, I go and wash my face and brush my teeth. And then I go and sit down at my computer desk, you understand, and I go over my devotion. I got a devotion book. I go over my devotion. Then I say my little prayer, you understand, that I say every day. Then I go and get in my car. I go to Dunkin' Donuts, give me this, I'm here. So there's a routine and there's a process, you understand, that I follow every day. It allows me to be able to change and discover how to live and to change my life. From a different, I don't get up, you understand, with nothing to do or no direction to go in. This is what I get up and this is what I do. And it's a process that I do every day. Your process does not have to be like mine. What I'm saying is that you have to be able to treat your mind and change your direction. When I used to get up thinking about who I'm going to rob. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I've seen that shit. I've seen that ride lawnmower. They don't never be at home. That was my thinking process. But treatment taught me how to think and operate in a different way. Y'all guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Right through.
Thank you.